And here in Wimberley, more than 60 homes were swept away along the Blanco River in the floods over the weekend. At least 4 people were killed. 8 people are still missing. Today, Hays County officials said they are still waiting on identification of the boy recovered along the Blanco River yesterday. 3 others have been identified: Jose Arteaga Picardo, Michelle Carey Sharba, and Dayton Thomas. These 8 people are still considered missing. They include the McComb and Sharba families. Today, a friend of those families says they are trying to...
absolutely amazed and overwhelmed by the generosity of others, even complete strangers. At times, when it could be easy...
Well, both the family and Hays County officials are putting out the call for more volunteers. Our Lindsay Bramson was at a news conference today, and she is here live with me with more. Lindsay, we know this has been such a hard day for so many people.
It certainly has been. You know, Shannon, it's now become sort of like an all hands on deck situation. Even if you're a complete stranger looking to lend a helping hand, there is a place for you out here. Right now, there are 250 volunteers looking for the 8 people still missing, but Hays County officials now say anyone can come out, and there are plenty of jobs for you. They need volunteers answering phones, serving lunches, and of course out there physically searching for the 8 that are missing. I'm told there will be instructions given to those who are not trained for this sort of thing. And if you're looking to volunteer, you can come to the First Baptist Church here in Wimberley at 8 a.m. any morning beginning tomorrow. Shannon.
All right, Lindsay, thank you so much. We appreciate that. Obviously, there is a lot of cleanup going on here. So many homes damaged by water. Today, I spoke with a woman who has lived in her home for 1 year. Her home is 200 yards away from the Blanco River, 30 yards up. She lost everything she has in the flood, but she said that's not even what's hurting her the most.
It came up so fast. We had literally 20 minutes to get out. I looked out my back window and literally saw a wall of water coming. And you just watch everything going away. And I heard a lady screaming in the river. And it's been horrible to have to live with the fact that there's nothing you could do for her. And then we come home to all of this. Wow, okay. Where did that all come from? It's just sad. But we'll go on.
Patricia Kelly really is resilient. Like so many people here, she is determined to go on, to rebuild. In fact, she invited us back in 6 months to see what her home looks like. She says she's determined to stay where she is. You know, the flooding along the Blanco River here was really unprecedented. Today, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick went up in a helicopter to get a better look at all of the damage. And KXAN's political reporter Phil Prazen actually joined him. You were the only reporter there, Phil, with Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick. What was it like from the air?
Well, there's a huge difference from on the ground and in the air. One of the first things Lieutenant Governor Patrick pointed out was that house where the 3 families were staying. Said that's the last place they were seen. And he said this flood has been devastating for 3 reasons. 1, the loss of life. 2, there was an incredible amount of property loss, and then the economic output here in Hays County is utterly destroyed. And he was calling for gauges and alarms on the waterways. A couple years ago, the legislature really tackled water infrastructure here in the state. That's not the case this session. There's only a few days left, and they're dealing with the final negotiations of many projects, and this is just another weight on state leaders. Governor Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Patrick have both explored the area here as they trying to find out what the state government can do in response to these floodings, and that will come in the weeks ahead.
And Phil, you know, I understand that Lieutenant Governor Patrick got very emotional today.
He was. You know, he didn't talk very much, and he would just quietly point to, you know, this is where the prom queen was swept away. And then this is where that house was that everybody knows about happened.
All right, Phil, thank you very much.